You did everything right. You were loyal. You were consistent. You showed up. You checked in. You remembered the little things, the things most men don't even notice. And she still left. Or she pulled away. Or she stopped looking at you the way she used to. Or you feel it now, that invisible distance, and you can't figure out what changed, because you didn't change. You kept giving. You kept trying. Here's the part nobody tells you. That might be exactly why she left. This one stings differently than most pain. Getting fired? That's clean. Your performance was lacking, or the company needed the cut. There's logic you can hold. Getting left when you gave everything? That's disorienting, because your whole framework of, if I do good things come back, just collapsed. You did the math. The math was wrong. And a lot of men in that situation go one of two directions. They either harden into something cynical, women are disloyal, love is a transaction, never give anything again, or they collapse inward, asking what's broken inside them, spiraling. Both are wrong, and both make the same mistake. They assume the problem was how much you gave. It wasn't. The problem was why you were giving and who you were when you did it. That's what this video is about. Not bitterness, not tactics, not manipulation. We're not playing games here. We're talking about a shift in your foundation, because the man you're building determines the relationship you attract, and more importantly, the man you become is worth far more than whether any single person stays. Here's something you need to sit with. She is not loyal to what you do for her. She is loyal to how she feels around you. Those are not the same thing. You can cook every dinner, pay every bill, remember every anniversary, and still lose her because what she's responding to is not the gesture. It's the energy underneath the gesture. When you do something from a place of abundance, because you want to, because it reflects who you are, it lands differently than when you do it from a place of need, from please don't leave me, from maybe if I give more she'll appreciate me more. She can feel the difference. She doesn't always know she can, but she does. Epictetus said it plainly, "Seek not that the things which happen should happen as you wish, but wish the things which happen to be as they are, and you will have a tranquil flow of life." In plain English, stop performing. Stop doing things to get a specific response. Do things because they're right, because they reflect your values, and then release the outcome completely. That's not coldness. That's not withholding. That's operating from character instead of desperation. The man who gives freely, without keeping score, without needing the result, that man is attractive. Not because it's a strategy, because it's real. The man who gives and then waits for the reaction, tracks whether it was appreciated, adjusts his behavior based on her mood that man is performing, and she can feel the performance, and it creates pressure where there should be peace. Here's the move. This week, catch yourself doing something in order to get something back. A compliment you throw out hoping she reciprocates. An effort you make and then immediately check to see if she noticed. Notice it. Name it. Ask, am I doing this from who I am or from what I need? That awareness alone will change how you carry yourself. This is the one that confuses men the most. You think making her your priority is romantic. You think putting her first shows strength and commitment, and it does if you're already a man with a mission. If your life is full, your purpose is clear, and you're choosing to bring her into something meaningful, that's powerful. But if she becomes the mission, if your energy, your mood, your entire focus rotates around her, that's not love, that's transfer of dependence. You just made her responsible for your emotional stability, and nobody wants that job. Think about this practically. You know that moment early in a relationship when she's slightly unsure of where she stands with you? When you're focused on your work, your goals, your people, and she has to earn your full attention, that tension creates attraction. Now compare that to 3 months later, when you text back instantly every time. You've cleared your schedule around hers. You stopped going to the gym as much because you'd rather spend the evening with her. The mystery is gone, not because she's ungrateful, but because you've stopped being the man she was attracted to. Marcus Aurelius built an empire. He wrote in his journal, not to her. He ran his mind, his body, his philosophy. His wife had to rise to be in the orbit of that man. You don't need an empire. You need a direction, something you're building, something that takes your focus and demands your best, something that exists whether or not she's in the room. When she sees you locked in, when she has to fit into your life instead of becoming your life, that changes the dynamic entirely. She feels lucky, not pressured, not responsible for your happiness. Lucky, the move, name your mission, not in abstract, not become successful or improve myself. A real one, a project, a skill, a goal with a deadline. Something that requires your actual attention today. That's where your energy goes first. The relationship comes second, and paradoxically, the relationship gets better. Every time you compromise something you believe to keep the peace, she respects you a little less. She might not say it, she might not even know it consciously, but you've just shown her that your principles have a price, and that price is her approval. That's not someone she can trust, not long-term, not deeply. Here's the difference between a wall and a boundary. A wall says, I'm not letting you in. I don't trust you. Stay back. That's fear dressed up as strength. A boundary says, this is who I am. This is what I stand for. You're welcome to be here, but not at the cost of that. Men confuse the two constantly. Either they have no limits, they fold on everything because they don't want the conflict, or they overcompensate and go rigid, cold, unreachable. Neither is strength. Real strength looks like this. She's upset about something, and she's escalating, raising her voice, getting dramatic, trying to pull you into chaos. And you stay calm. Not passive, not shut down. Calm. You say, I'm not having this conversation at this volume. When you're ready to talk, I'm here, and then you mean it. You don't chase. You don't explain yourself 17 times hoping she'll finally understand. You said it once. You held it. That's emotional gravity. You don't get swept into the storm. You remain the one solid point she can find when it passes. The Stoics called this prohairesis, the capacity to choose your response regardless of external chaos. It's your most powerful asset. And most men hand it away the second someone they love gets upset. The move, think of one area in your life right now where you're tolerating something you shouldn't, not to punish anyone, but because you've been choosing peace over truth. One thing. Name it, decide what you actually believe, and say it once, clearly without apology. Not aggressive, not explosive, just honest. Watch how people respond to a man who's no longer negotiable on who he is. You're allowed to feel things. Let's be clear on that. Emotional awareness in a man is not weakness, it's intelligence. Knowing what you're feeling, being able to name it, being able to sit with it, that's a skill most men never develop. And it matters, but there's a line, and a lot of men cross it without realizing. When you start processing your fears, your insecurities, your emotional spirals with her when she becomes the person who holds your uncertainty together, you've just shifted the polarity of the relationship. She's now carrying you. And women are not built to be attracted to men, they're carrying. This isn't about performance. This isn't about performance. This isn't about pretending you don't struggle. It's about who you go to when you struggle. You have a therapist for that, or a male friend you actually talk to, not just drink with. A journal, a workout, a long drive where you process before you speak. You bring her your strength. You work through the rough draft somewhere else. By the time you talk to her, you know what you think. You're not dumping raw material and asking her to help you sort it. The man who can sit with his own discomfort without immediately externalizing it, that man is rare, and that rarity is magnetic. The move, next time you feel the pull to vent emotionally, pause. Give it 24 hours. Go to the gym, write it out, call a friend, whatever your version looks like. See if you still need to bring it to her after. Most of the time, you won't. You'll have processed it. You'll come to her clear. Here's the through line. Every section of this video comes back to the same thing. Who you are when nobody's watching. The man who gives without keeping score. The man who has a mission she has to earn her place beside. The man who holds his values when the pressure is on. The man who processes his pain privately and comes to the relationship with clarity. That man isn't performing for her. He's not trying to be attractive. He's not running strategies. He's not monitoring her reactions to adjust his behavior. He's just built that way because he built himself that way. In private, over time, one decision at a time, and she feels that. She can't always explain it, but the man who needs nothing from her genuinely, not as a tactic, is the man she wants to give everything to. Because there's no pressure, there's no scoreboard, there's no anxious energy underneath the love. There's just a man who knows who he is, and a woman who's lucky to be chosen by him. Look, I get it. What we talked about today doesn't just disappear because you watched a 15-minute video. The old habits show up. The anxiety is still there at 2 a.m. The discipline still breaks when your alarm goes off and you're tired. This isn't about making life easier, it's about making you stronger. The Stoics understood something most men today have forgotten. You are not your circumstances, you are your response to your circumstances. You don't control whether people respect you, but you control whether you need their respect to feel solid. You don't control whether she texts back, but you control whether you lose your frame when she doesn't. You don't control whether you get the recognition, but you control whether you show up with character anyway. Marcus Aurelius ruled the known world, and every morning he sat down and reminded himself, you don't control other people, you don't control outcomes, you control yourself. If the Emperor of Rome needed that reminder every single morning, so do you. So here's what happens next. Pick one move from today one. The awareness exercise, the mission, the boundary, the processing pause. Just one. Write it down. Do it tonight. Because information without action is just entertainment. And you didn't come here to be entertained. When you do it, come back. Drop one word in the comments. The concept you're taking into this week, I want to see it. And if this actually landed, subscribe. New Stoic training every week. If you're serious about becoming harder to break, you don't want to miss the next one. Stay solid. I'll see you in the next one.